Earlier, we set up the ability to connect to a cryptocurrency API, return back the top 100 currencies with their current price. So what happens if you want to just really focus on one particular cryptocurrency and you want to get details involved in that? Now there's an option for that as well. So within the API, all we need to do is specify the currency that we're after. And for this, we're actually going to need a list of the currencies. So let's build this out into our body, and then we're going to wrap this up and finish this up using our index.js, so node. So first of all, input and ID, currency, tags. So this is where you input the currency that you want to search out for, and of course we need a button for this one as well. So button, ID, and this ID is going to be request rate, because we're going to be requesting that rate for the one individual currency, C rate. And let's add in a line break there to separate those out. Now, of course, we could also probably better off to just do a div, and we'll wrap it with a div as well. And we'll do one for this one as well. And just move these in, so clean this up a little bit so it looks more readable. So now we refresh and we got this C rate. So we want to be able to enter in Bitcoin, click it, and see the rate. So let's hook up our event listeners for that. So a lot of the same thing that we did down here. And we're going to duplicate quite a bit of the stuff that we've already done. So I'm going to work through that relatively quickly. So we're setting that up, and then we need to set up an event listener for this one as well. So let's do that. And instead of get all rates, this one will get one rate. And we'll just do singular. So get one rate. So next we need to set up a function in order to handle that. So function get one rate. And we need to pass in some parameters into this one because this one's expecting to see what rate we're getting. But we can also use whatever value is within this input. So let's do that. We'll just use the value that's sitting within the input. So that means that we have to grab that value. And let's set up some more variables. So we want to get the value of currency tags. So currency tags, and we'll just do query selector. So make sure that you include the hash there because these are IDs. And let's set up temporary value for let. So this will get whatever that valency is of currency tags value. And for now, let's put it in the console. So it's always good to make sure that things are working properly. So let's just try that out first. So go back in and refresh our web page and Bitcoin, C rate. So there we go. So we're passing over Bitcoin. So great. Exactly what we need because we do need to pass this into the URL. So the URL is going to be the same URL, but we're going to be adding that currency value to it. So let URL plus, and we'll just call it URL plus. So do URL, and we're going to add, and let's see what we've got within our console, and we'll try that out within the browser before we continue. So go back out, refresh it, and let's do Bitcoin. Click C rate, and let's open this up in. So there we go. So we see that we're returning back that Bitcoin value. So perfect, exactly what we needed. Now we're ready to grab that data from that URL. So we're ready to set up and do fetch. So much like what we did down here, we can do the same thing where we've got, I'm just going to copy this to save a little bit of time. So what we're doing is we're getting, instead of URL, we're doing URL plus. And we're returning it back as data. So for now, let's just console log that out just to make sure that we're getting it. So again, let's refresh. Oh no, we got a CORS problem. So what a CORS problem is, and you're going to find this when you're trying out different APIs, that occasionally you're going to run into these no access control origin headers, and a lot of times there's not a whole lot you can do. You can try it with a JSON+AJAX+API format, and it could also be the browsers as well. So some browsers are more strict on the headers that they pass through, and they won't allow that through. So it also depends on what the headers are for this URL as well. So we can try to work through that, but usually the best way to go when you do encounter these is to take that out of the browser, those request URLs out of the browser, and especially if you've already got Node set up, you can do the routes, the requests in the back end, and simply call to those routes within the front end. So that's what we're going to do coming up in the next lesson. We're going to fix this CORS problem and jump back into the back-end coding on Node and make some requests, and I'll show you how we can get around these types of issues. So that's coming up next.